This will be coming from my godfather. His name is KSM Misa. Of course, I started an agenda that Kovichi is continuing at KSM's end. He was on YFM last week and he said something about comedy and comedians in Ghana. That is what our common sense will be centered on this morning. So just keep quiet. Listen to what the man is about to tell us. And after that, we also use our common sense to discuss this. Where you be at me can be. That's why we call it common sense. Now, Jata, give me a post on Facebook. I'll be reading that as well. I realized that after the show, when I go to Facebook, I see so many comments that I ignore. But today, I'm going to read the comments there as well. And then on Twitter, it is at Xylophone1021FM. Give me a mention at Samiflex. Let's do this. On Facebook at Xylophone1021. Common sense. Listen to KSM.
Unfortunately for my fellow comedians too, Ghana is now a very polarized state. We are so partisan and polarized that if you're a comedian, you want to do some amazing funny joke on Akufo-Addo, where and vice versa. Look at what Obi went through.
Yes.
Because he cracked a joke on Mahama. Yes. MPP. So that is my fellow comedians. That's the country you're living in now. It's polarized. It's partisan. So you now have the duty to, how do you weave yourself through this? And what is sad about this, Revo, is that it imposes self-censorship on the art of comedy.
Yes, you can't really
say what you want because they'll brand you. But that's not, and things have changed so much, Charlie. When I was doing Politically Incorrect, the first one, Charlie, JJ was in the house. I gave it to JJ, I gave it to him, and they were all cheering, including himself.
He the man. Have you noticed that since he's been quiet, there's no news in Ghana? There's no news.
Then that, so I think the country has gotten to the point where it's now very polarized.
Are we losing our sense of humor as a nation?
We are. We have become too partisan. We have lost, are we losing all? We have lost our sense of humor. I can't crack a joke about the president. We all laugh because it's a joke. And I can't crack a joke about Mahama and we all laugh because it's a joke. No. It must be partisan. It is sad. It is killing our industry. So we have now to find a way to manage it. I was telling Obi the other time when he cracked the joke, and this is not something I should be telling Obi as a senior comedian. I said, Charlie, Obi, Ghana there, Charlie, come with some political balance, If you're going to joke about Mahama, joke about too small. It shouldn't be the case. But that's where we are. And that's our biggest challenge, is we are living in a partisan country now, and our freedom of thought has now gone into self-censorship.
Now, Kwakusin Timisa of Safa Entertainment, KSM, was on YFM with Reverend Eskin, and this discussion came through. He was talking about the fact that if you are a comedian in Ghana, you just cannot say anything. Now, our common sense question is this simple. Is KSM saying that we should allow comedians to just say anything they want at any time? I know it's a big question. Godfather, good morning once again. Today you are on my chopping board. Is KSM saying that we should allow our comedians to just say anything at any time? Krepi, start this for me. This is our common sense. Let me listen to your common sense on this.
I see the angle he's coming from, and it's an unfortunate scenario that he's experienced. Recently, I read something that he said in regards to how government is handling certain things. But notwithstanding that, I also think that there is a real opportunity for creative comedians to one way or the other rise above the line and start the conversation. If we are in a polarized situation and nobody is talking, it will get more polarized. Somebody needs to come in and diffuse the situation. Comedians have a role they play in politics, particularly in politics. Entertainers have a role they play in politics. It might not be so visible, but we do have a role. If you watch around the military rule time, the kind of songs that were being produced by musicians tells the history of Ghana. Prior to that, when we had the colonial rule, the kind of songs the likes of Konimo and so on were releasing told us stories about that time. You see, so comedians and people in the artistic industry have a serious role to play within this industry. We need to free ourselves from any political affiliation or political pressure that would reduce or alter the art. Let's not forget, and I'm not pointing fingers, but under the PNDC, the arts and culture industry in Ghana suffered for 10 years. Where we had, that's what created all this Bogaha life. Because people had to flee to go to other parts of the world to produce our music. Because nightlife in Ghana halted. Live band in Ghana, as we know it today, stopped. So musicians were forced to go into the studio and use technical production sounds to actually make the sounds that made it sound more African, and that produced the Bogaha life. Because the Bogaha life is a mixture of R&B and our local, some of our local instruments. You understand? So we should not allow history to repeat itself. KSM is one of the revolutionary comedians during the PNDC time, and he told it as it is, as much as he could. So freedom of speech is important. We need to push the agenda. The state is not going to give us, or even if in law we have the opportunity to have freedom of speech, the state is not going to particularly encourage that if things are going in a way that they would want it to go. As per to the people, if we see issues and we want to talk about it, we must feel free to talk about it without no fear or favor. Because when you're speaking, you're not speaking with malice. You're not insulting the character. You're not insulting the person. You're speaking to the facts. You're speaking about issues that everybody is concerned about. So I don't see where the issue is, but rather we should have more radicalized comedians who are not afraid of the agenda, who are free of political association and affiliation, who are ready to say it as it is, who are ready to listen to the concerns and pains of the people and create something beautiful out of that. Give it back to us for us to have a laugh. Because you see, one of the things that's kept Africa going amidst all these hardships that we have in our part of the world is our ability to keep smiling, our ability to take issues on a lighter note, our ability to still have that community connection, have that nuclear family connection, and have that family unit connection. It's very important, and this is one thing that we can't lose. So the idea of I'm an independent woman, I'm an independent guy, I want to be a single father, and so on and so forth, I don't support those things, because it breaks the fabric of society. This is what the Europeans and Americans, that's where they've got to now, and that has affected them gravely in their society. So yes, KSM is right. We are living in a polarized political year. It's expected. It's expected. The race is tough. MPP is in power. NDC wants to come in. Goom party wants to come in, and the rest of LPG and so on. So you understand. So it's okay to be competitive. It's okay for the polarization to come in, but comedians, entertainers, we also have a role to play, and we must not lose sight of that.
Wow. This is the application of your common sense. And like I said, today we're talking about KSM, an interview on YFM, where he said in Ghana, woe unto you as a comedian, if you take any political joke, the people will chew you alive. And it happened to Obi and Ponsa. He told us what he went through before finally he was set free. Now, should we allow comedians to just say anything because we don't want them to feel gagged? Kojo Chum on Twitter says, well, comedians should know when not to cross the line. I really disagree with KSM. Thank you, Kojo Chum. And that is his common sense as well. I will be reading from Facebook, but then give me your points on Twitter as well with the hashtag Showbiz Agenda. What is your common sense on this topic? KSM Reverend Eskin gave it to us. Okay, Maminko, Minia Kobichi ho. Kobichi, still on the common sense agenda.
Good morning to Mr. KSM.
Yes, sir. Our big man.
Yes. Now, chunk of the people are ignorance, and so you notice that. I mean, let me even use this as a case study where there's a COVID-19. But here now BMP. I mean, UPA she was not smart, but you had we saw a minister or a member of parliament going to his community. I know he was tested positive.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Exactly. So he should tell you that. I mean, in Penin, for most people are ignorance. Now, I've said it countless times that if you are going for a comedy show, what the facts about ticket in the crowd, you are trying to a comedy show that is established. In the comedy show, that's all now. That's a KSM. Just come and laugh, and you know these people are comedians. So regardless of what they say, they are saying it from the comic.
The agenda is
to just make you laugh.
At the end of the day.
So best no coffee. So that should be the motive of even buying the tickets or going to even sit there in the first place. They say, "Oh, as a comedian, react and as a you find offended that it means that your ignorance about you even buying ticket to go and sit there in the first place." That is one. Now I've heard, I've seen DKB come up with a lot of jokes, political jokes, and you notice that it's also another avenue to even educate us, the masses, or educate everyone. Because in simple, DKB Beka and I say, Obi Beka, and that's a research I was even doing this morning. So, USA and some parts of the world that they have political comedians.
Almost all their jokes are on
politics, and there's that comic in it at the same time educating people. Maybe a brass, maybe a NDC for your wadrin kohono in a comic way. Or to me, come wadrin koho. So what's our best day about Syria? Now I just in the same patre.
Yeah. So I said when Akufo-Addo was addressing the state on the COVID update, almost after every address, the next week you see an NDC press conference also about to address the state on their COVID update, and someone can do a fine joke out of this.
Yes, I think it's established. A lot of comedians will go into contents that are related to politics. But let's not forget, it is humor. That is one, established. Second, it is to educate us. Again, I think the comedians, and this is also an advice to them, you should also know where you're coming from, your background, your rudiments. The fact is that a lot of Ghanaians are also, they act on emotions. You must also be well informed about the people you're going to deal with. Because parties are in the end. So anytime you are creating content and you are in the midst of politicians, be extra mindful. And like KSM said, it has also, let's say people have that talent to go on only political jokes. But now they'll get some money out of it. Now we are stopping them.
Say Obi, I'm sure today, say Orlando joke be na about politics. He will think twice putting it out. Maybe so that would be the best joke. Maybe side joke between land another gay crowd, baby. They should feel free, but my advice is that if you know the country where you're coming from, you have to be conscious about some of the content that you put to because if you are not careful, your career will be in a deadline. Because because Obi can joke about this one, show. No, Obi Mahama which doesn't make sense to some extent. It happens. It is no joke. What you are talking about, it happens.
So Mahama joking,
so many people have lost some juicy deals.
Yes, because of that.
These things,
Into the best Ghana also. Someone who is well educated. Unim say nipa no school ni my day what two to coin unim say nipa no over stage no a comic no be or a comedian. Then you see people and now Facebook and OBD say Facebook are well educated people almost long say.
Of course, because of their party
affiliation. Yeah. The word is comedy. Because when we call comedy, show na oka bibia even about me. I mean, Nigeria for ya. They can use Nigerian to say their governors, their top people. Meet me here, and you see, yeah, Ghana for because you see it as a comic content. Obasanjo airport.
I remember one comedian saying Obasanjo is one of the ugliest in Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah. And that if you give birth, people come and hey, this one he looks like Obasanjo.
And they will accept it. In this Nigeria for Virginia platform, so conference center. No more president a joke. I'm president, you know. But Ghana ni comedian. Yusuf Muhammad their content. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense
because we MPP.
Yes, it doesn't make sense. What you take it best nako and my advice to comedians say well who send ya Ghana for you also be extra careful. Be extra careful.
Thank you so much. And that was the common sense according to Kobe Che. Let me read yours as well. And I'm reading from Twitter. Elom Lazarine says everything for day inside. Sake of Rasami leaving some stuff out makes the jokes one way or even boring. They should be allowed. From Ablekuma Olebu, happy birthday in advance to my left kidney Diana and my personal person Abraham Ninote. Hey, your left kidney, pa. What they must say, not mom will be broken heart. Now, Shatter Saxstone Samini says, well, I think comedians should be allowed to feel free, but they themselves too should also know their limitations. Not every on this earth can be used or said as a joke. Even your fabulous crew, good morning to you. This is Shaba Andy doing the listening at Motown. Okay. David Akaneshi says, Sammy Flex, we should allow them to say everything they want to say, but it should be at the right time. Reverend Kojo Silas on Twitter says, Brasami, what KSM is saying is true, but the comedian should know what to say at the right time. If you punch a politician at his weak side, he may not forgive you. They should just know that. Okay? DJ Culture says, Brasami, I think comedians should be allowed to speak their minds if only they won't use their creativity to tarnish the image of others or the president. Okay. And who else is here? Susket says, Boss, Ghanaians always hate DS but love everything foreign. Rabiu Slat says, yeah, comedians should be allowed to say anything only when they are on their comedy shows, and also you, the person attending the show, you must know it is a comedy show. That boy from Abri Himbuk says, Sammy, this matter is quite weird, but looking at the bigger picture, the politicians themselves need to release some stress off their chest, so they should allow the comedians more, because they even tease themselves in the Parliament House. Okay. Here, when they start saying they're here, right? Simple is here. He says, Brasami, let's also be aware that most of these comedians are secretly affiliated to a political party. They can attack a particular party or in the name of comedy. You think OB and DKB don't vote? I know where this man is going to, but you won't allow him to get there. Okay, so let's come back to the studio where Kofi Asamoah is also ready to give us his common sense. Kofi, you can go for this mic so you'll be heard loud and clear. This one, I mean.
And we need more money free.
But the same who say na account. Kofi Kasa. Aha. Still Fabien.
A whole xylophone FM. And now a black rasta program. And I'm a microphone and I say I swat it. You are having some bepam in an assay. It's still money. We chat your phone.
At here for you so.
Nanapia Mensa Utia. So when I was a mic and I say, but your mic and the second one from the left, I say, Okasa Emma. Timbacho Hena Udiscaba Sonyo Modi. On 1 year.
What if you send him now, Cassan? When you send no now, Cassan?
It's not a son of Utini Biana, Mike. That's common sense issue, you know. I think say issue be I have made that observation before. Say ultimately we'll get to a time say comedians make certain jokes. In fact, person me correct at the Critic. Comedians are not supposed to speak facts or become source of factual information. Comedians are able to make fun out of the fact. They are able to give their interpretation of the fact. Into open factor, you don't go to the comedian or you don't go to a comedian show. That is why even in law, no comedians, I say, obi professional comedian. Yes, sir. Over castle, you will be sabeka na midi diabo. I don't know the emra mahu kwansa, but obia or ye known comedian. I say or ye professional comedian or who kwansa even on one kasane opinion
on issues.
Or known as a comedian, and it must be established. Say, some or can on the delivery of Nejuma. Say on the stage. Yes,
in the line of comedy.
In the line of work. Those statements should be made in the line of work. Say, and then DKB and KSM. I got some PCFM. You need the commander, so then Adam Fuko share baby. No moody in Komodo make certain statement. I am running anybody. Because at that point, it is possible. It can be argued, say, it was not on a friend say
comedy stage.
On a comedy stage. Okay, and comedians are allowed to take sides. You can have an anti-NPP comedian. You can have a pro-NDC comedian. It is allowed. Or here a Trevor Noah or show be the Daily Show. But you saw anti-Trump, and he makes it so obvious. And if you look at how he's able to speak, because he does it on that platform, on his line of work, and he's a registered comedian. So he can say a lot of things. Sometimes, you can be attacked on moral grounds.
Yeah.
On cultural grounds. But legally, you could be able to say some of the things. Bibi about the religion. Comedy make a joke about religion. On moral grounds, you better be attacking. But to be able to me finding court say Asama Kai means only a mitchell. We could do all that. To say statement joke will be making about Mahama saying it was just a joke. Nothing more, nothing less. And he did it on stage while performing. I don't think that Mahama himself would take offense at that. But the followers of Mahama.
In fact, on that stage, he was talking about corruption.
Yes, I know. And I can say it was a joke. Oh, but KSM and Co have made worse jokes about certain presidents while they were inside.
Did they say they were corrupt? For instance, someone can say a joke on Akufo-Addo being shot. We will laugh to it and let it slide. But if you say,
remember KSM made a certain thing about Rollins those days, and Rollins was there. He said something about we shouldn't expect the country to move. So, a joke about maybe we are one of the show political something.
Yeah, he used to have that.
Yeah, and Rollins was offended. You could see in the video that he didn't laugh. He had laughed at all the jokes,
but that particular one,
he didn't laugh. His wife laughed. It will be it hit him. But what could Almighty Rollins do? The guy was cracking jokes. You had laughed at other people's jokes.
When it hit you hard, you frowned.
Yeah. I think what we rather need to do is we have to, like Kobe said, and I think Repi also mentioned, radical comedians who understand their job, who understand the import of the things that they do. Because you see, comedy is an essential part of society, of every economy. Entertainment, comedy in whatever form is very essential. Nagana Hakrani, you need satirical shows and events and concerts any day to say abrochiri. But abrochiri, to me, comedians can even dress and mimic a certain president. Obi to me just to say Trump. When he did his I forgot how they call it. His July 4th Nansea address no holiday July 4th and July 1st. One of I forgot. I think it was 4th. Yeah, the July 4 idea Ellen something some pro Obama presenter.
Yeah.
Comedian Ellen
DeGeneres. Yeah.
If you look what she did, like or the Obiaba Tina or damn it said Trump. You know, and they were dissecting his speech for July 4 Adiano, and it's hilarious. And sometimes even me sitting here, I'm saying, hey, these people got nerves. Like, you know, this is sitting president, this is Trump. But I think they understand the system. They understand how the job works. And for us, now I think
but once again, we cannot compare our democracy to the democracy of the state.
That's why I'm saying, we need radical, you see, like DKB did for comedy in Ghana. I always say everywhere I go that comedy in Ghana was revived by DKB. And I don't think anybody, for any reason, can take that away from the young man. When there were times where comedy was dead, they said Ghanaian comedians were not funny, they were always bringing Nigerian comedians, but this guy stood. And today, because of him or through him, people feel proud to even be called comedians. Obi is a eye specialist to say Bibisa. The other people, what them tell us now?
Our Jerry here is a comedian as well.
Who?
Jerry.
Sir. And you're hating.
Sir, Dakno. Oba have the other one day. Obe to recover have the other.
Oh, forget it.
Say ya. And you're going to say
it's you know what DKB did then. And how now it has transformed into what we are seeing now. It is also possible that we can have Obiko and Obe satirical comedy in Kwa to bring back what KSM did when he stopped. Because KSM, if Yasribo was a political show, politically incorrect was a political show. My Ghana, what was a lot of his shows were political satires. So and so now we don't have anything like that. If we can get a comedian, I don't know, because you see, we should have a lighter note of every issue. That is the essence of this political satire. It's registration and even Corona. Sometimes these comedians break down complex issues for the lay people.
I'm sure that was what Clemento Suarez did with his ABC of coronavirus. Yeah,
they break down very complex issues. And some boy be our hair on TSC or TSC the agro one passa. But a comedian, let me tell you, when GMO first started, I mean the whole concept of the GMO and I was watching a show. It wasn't even a popular guy. It was some guy on YouTube, Ghana boy, some 29 view kind of video. And the way the guy explained the GMO, like no of apple, of two different mango. Abrofo mango, no salo mango, and of fat, normal mango, and of fat the embryo, and of the John or say mango. If you fear saying, say, not tonable 2 years, then you and you are saying, I was saying, a bay saying, a bedi 5 years, a di 5 years, na mango naba, now fade a year be a season be a net. But you see, and penny seed, you pay black soil there. She say, you do near one panier, in real guguso. Same room, and the guy broke that, and I was like, I don't know any say in row the Diana man. I'm an I can see no. You know, so I bought it so easy. You know, and I was like, and this is a video nobody's even watching. It is sometimes entertainers, comedians, and no man they are able to make life so easy for us. And then I will call in Krasena, they believe in actors. I've gone somewhere with acrobat or be two seguno soda. So or tiny a Apostle John Prado or tiny needle. The woman wanted to go and shoot in her. I said, Debbie. Penny, acrobat to any papa. And then soften you know, and we thought she was kidding. Sammy or GD because these people give them what they probably will not see on TV, see on here on radio, the politics morning shows, they probably will not get the time to into some comedian shows in Naman Tinkiti Wenu and a bad boy in Nama. Sometimes apart from even breaking down things to relax. In this political partisan politics ever overshadow these creative minds will have a big problem as a country. we have a very big problem. Yes, I bet baby no comedians perform usro. So comedian beka na nadu asema usro. Comedian person obe offend a certain group of people. Into beka joker usro. But I don't think that it would be good for us to create that tangent. And let's say a hokra. Okay. Now your comedians no free space to operate.
Thank you so much, Kofi Asamoah from Kofas Media. He is the CEO now in team. Dodu Solomon, aka Chemo, says KSM asked Rollins if he chopped Ghana's money in the presence of Rollins, and I'm going to release that video even because of this discussion you guys are having. Okay, Chemo, we are waiting for that video. Now, Simple says, before you crack a political joke, ask yourself whether it could have a negative effect on the target, political party, or the politician. You can't use your profession to pour sand into somebody's gari. I repeat, all of these comedians are affiliated to a party. Kofi, let's also get this one clear. The position of this guy who thinks that some of these comedians are also political animals, and therefore they do their campaign subtly through their jokes. Should we pay attention to that as well? Briefly, I'm going to Lady Rev.
Lady Rev will win a segment on Pundits.
Okay, Kosu.
Thank you, like you asked. That's what I mean. They are allowed to. Every entertainer
and
every performer.
Wait. If they are allowed to, then they should also be waiting for the backlash. Because remember, it is still the NDC NPP thing. Just as even when NDC puts out a positive information, NPP will still make it look dirty. Same way, if you are a comedian and you want to be a political comedian, if you put out any comment on the NPP, the NDCs will come after you. So are we allowing that?
I think, sir, we cannot stop it. But all I'm saying that it should not create that vacuum. It should not create that avenue where comedians cannot be able to perform. As for the backlash there, you know what you're making? The dominant white Americans or the Trump followers don't watch him. They don't listen to him. They won't tune in at all. And also, he's aware. But I just say radio parties here, for your mobile radio stations here. Only radio station. Oh, travel your panel Becca. NDC ni unquotiennes to quotiade. NPP ni election ta ukotie radio go da ide. Ukotie obi etie radio obi etie baby na so mbedo no. Obi etie antina ye two election back no. Omo etie radio go di say we are in a comfortable in NDC befa. Obi otie NPP bia so nim say NPP befa. Intino baby a waso mbedo no. I wanna bet intino they can backlash them, they can express their opinions towards their jokes and everything, but what I'm saying is it should not stop them.
Okay, my man Creepy would want to add a bit to it before you run away from here. Creepy, yes, this one, break it down small.
Just very quickly. Me person me be very clear.
Okay.
Say, it is important, say, say, comedy is an imitation of a situation, whether tragic or real. But it is very important, say, comedy must be based on facts. Make a bium. Say, say, untumi feji mi sem enyeden. Endi di obi atem.
Anyame na mekan yo question.
Sebe takacho untumi nkoka say Trump drug addict. A woni basis bia obedi eren. Ejina so. Say meba. Say ebia aba news ni mu and he's been alleged or accused. Say, oh, he's done drugs before, then. And the comedian say ade wo news mu. Obetumi ayeden aka ho asem. What I say, because a idea that board so I discuss it into or critique be fine. But me person can say we a comedian now to me and sorry keke and chichira sema in new you can create a comedy baby.
So for instance, I remember
what I'm saying is so long as it's affecting somebody directly or indirectly, no. And so who's in abekono untumi enkasemengu entu biso keke in the name of comedy. You have to be an educated comedian in the sense that we comedy so we nyansa bi eton. Let's go to Akwawe Aristotle. Read what his definition about comedy is.
What did he say?
He defined comedy as an imitation of a man's worst than the average.
Okay.
As an imitation of men worse than the average, where tragedy was an imitation of men better than the average. It goes on to say, very quickly, in other words, comedy is an artificial play, and its main function is to focus attention on what ails the world. Comedy is critical, but in its scourge and folly and vice. It to me, there is no contempt or anger in comedy.
He added that.
He is also of the view that the laughter of a comedy is impersonal, polite, and very near to a smile. But it has to always be based on fact, because it's funny because it is true. Fact-based comedy can affect everyone.
Okay.
Kofi, yes. I think that what
I'm running away.
The last part is not from aristocrat.
It's not aristocrat. Aristotle.
Yes, you should, because you were quoting somebody. You should have said that quote end, because you're making it look like based on facts, from the man, and it is not. Nowhere in the world should a comedian become a source of factual information. Nowhere. That is why I said on authority that it is not that last part, that fact, it is not for him. Comedian should not say things because it is fact. If it becomes so, then the comedian will have a problem. Comedian should be able to come, and he can even bring things that do not exist. Things that do not exist. Say, comedian should not come and say it is alleged. Otherwise, immediately you do that, then you are trying to defame. That is when defamation. But when you make it established as a joke, and what you read from Aristotle, it tells it says that it is artificial performance. Now they bow. Into a comedian, obi can say me say or misinterpret or say and for Jimmy and obi attempt. No opinion. I'm sure what he wants to say. They say because we opportunity to create jokes into. We have feelings.
Yeah.
That is where your point comes in, that you should be ready for the backlash, because those who have the feelings will backlash you. But and comedian no coordinate stage. Now come election results statistics. Now come a pink sheet. Don't do a fact. That is not a news channel. It's a comedy show.
All right. Thank you so much to my common sense people.